You know that feeling when you scroll through a sea of binoculars on Amazon, see a glossy photo of a sleek orange barrel, read a promise of crystal-clear views, and then end up with something that feels like a cheap toy the first time you raise it to your eyes? I've been there more than once, especially when the optics look perfect on the screen but turn out dim, shaky, or just plain uncomfortable during a real birdwatching outing. That hesitation is what drove me to actually compare a handful of high-end models, dig through the specs, and see what people who spend serious time outdoors really care about before I hit record. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Swarovski NL Pure 842 in burnt orange is one of those eye-catching pieces that gets a lot of buzz because of the brand name. At first glance it looks like a premium piece built for serious nature lovers, but the question is whether it lives up to that promise when you're out in the field, not just when it sits on a showroom shelf. Let's walk through what the binocular actually brings to the table, who will feel the value, and where it might fall short so you can decide if it's worth the investment. First off, the most immediate thing you notice is the weight. Swarovski has made the NL Pure surprisingly lightweight for an 842, thanks to an ergonomic body and that textured burnt orange finish that isn't just for looks, it gives you a better grip when you're holding them steady on a windy hill or a damp boat deck. In my tests on a misty morning at a local wetland, the binocular felt balanced enough that I could keep them level for several minutes without the arms tiring. That's a real plus if you're planning long walks or need to keep your hands free for a field guide. The 8 magnification paired with a 42mm objective lens is a classic combo that delivers a bright, sharp image in daylight. The premium optics claim isn't just marketing fluff. The lenses are coated in a way that cuts down on glare, and the result is a vivid, high-contrast view of a red-crowned kingfisher perched just a few meters away. The field of view is wider than many other 8 models, which means you can sweep a treetop quickly and lock onto moving subjects without hunting the image around. That fast target acquisition is exactly what you want when a flock of ducks suddenly takes off. Water resistance is another area where Swarovski really steps up. These binoculars are fully waterproof and fog-proof, which I confirmed by taking them out into a light rain during a dawn hike. There was no condensation inside the barrels, and the view stayed crystal clear even when the temperature dipped below 5°C. For anyone who lives in a climate that swings between foggy mornings and sudden showers, that reliability eliminates the need for a separate rain cover or a frantic wipe-down mid-observation. Now, let's talk about where the trade-offs appear. The 42mm objective lens, while keeping the package light, does sacrifice a bit of low-light performance compared to larger 50mm or 56mm options. In a dusk setting, the image was still usable but began to lose a bit of that punchy brightness you get with bigger objectives. If you plan to do a lot of nighttime wildlife spotting, you might notice that limitation sooner than later. Also, the 8 magnification, while great for stable hand-holding, can feel a little twitchy if you have a steady hand. Any slight shake is amplified. Some users mitigate this by adding a small tripod, but that adds another piece of gear and a bit of bulk, which runs counter to the lightweight ethos of the NL Pure. Price is the elephant in the room. Swarovski's name carries a premium, and these binoculars sit at the high end of the market. That means they're definitely not the entry-level choice for someone just dabbling in birdwatching or hunting. If you're comparing them to a $150 842 from a more generic brand, you're paying a significant extra amount for the combination of optical coatings, waterproofing, and the ergonomic finish. The value really shines for those who already know they'll use the binoculars frequently, say, a serious birdwatcher, a field biologist, or an avid wildlife photographer who needs reliable performance in a variety of conditions. Who should skip it? If you're an occasional parkgoer who only looks up a few times a year, the cost may not justify the incremental gains over a decent mid-range pair. Similarly, if you're primarily after low-light performance for twilight or moonlit hikes, you might be better served by a model with larger objectives, even if that means a bit more weight. And if you're on a tight budget but still want decent optics, there are other brands that offer respectable clarity at a fraction of the price. Who should buy it? Anyone who spends a lot of time outdoors and needs a binocular that won't let the weather dictate whether they can observe. The waterproof, fog-proof construction means you can launch out of bed on a rainy morning, head to the marshes,